Before we start, just a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. Only 2% are subscribed. At 1,000 subscribers, I'll be posting a special video. My daughter drags my brother's name into the trash on her laptop. 1 second it sits under family, then it just vanishes. I stare at the blank space and my chest kicks. I am Mark. I was 56 when this happened. What are you doing? My hand shoots toward the trackpad. She pulls the laptop closer, jaw tight, eyes locked on the screen. He's not coming, she says flat, like she is reading a weather report. I hit undo with one finger, like that settles it for everyone. She presses delete again, slower, just to make a point. No, her voice drops calm, that stubborn calm she gets from me. He is not invited to my wedding, and I'm done arguing. Something inside me flares because this feels like a slap. We are supposed to be finalizing seating, not starting a war. Her fiancé's spreadsheets sit open in another tab, mocking me. I had cleared my whole afternoon for this, tried to be helpful. Instead, I am watching my own kid erase my brother like trash. You can't just cut him, I say, heat building in my throat. He's your uncle, and he is a big part of this family. She leans back, folds her arms, that little wall going up. Watch me, she mutters, and I feel my face start burning. I know I sound dramatic, but in my head this is huge. Some relatives you can skip without noise, distant cousins or whatever. Not him, not the man everyone expects to see in the front row. I can already picture his reaction, and my stomach twists hard. Is this about money? I ask, voice sharper than I wanted. Because I am paying for a large chunk of this thing. She closes the laptop halfway, fingers resting on the edge. So what, you think the guest list is for sale now? That is not what I said, I snap, though it kind of is. What I am saying is, decisions like this affect everyone. Everyone except me, apparently. She lets out this humorless laugh. It's my wedding day, Dad, not his redemption tour. That line punches straight through me, and I pretend it doesn't. You're making a scene out of nothing, I say, which is laughable. She tilts her head, studies me like I am a problem to solve. You really think this is nothing to me? Her voice cracks. There is a tiny pause, just a breath, where I could ask why. Ask what changed, ask what he did, ask anything that shows trust. Instead, I bulldoze that moment because I am sure I already know. You two had some stupid argument, right, and now you're punishing him. Her mouth actually drops open for a second, like I slapped her. This isn't about an argument, she pushes the chair back hard. You just don't like hearing no when it comes from me. The words sting, mostly because there is truth tangled in them. I don't like disrespect, I throw back louder than I meant. Your uncle has earned a place there, and you know it. She looks away toward the hallway, eyes bright, lips pressed tight. Yeah, she says, I know exactly what he earned. That answer chills me, but I push past it like an idiot. I decide she is being petty, stubborn, influenced by her fiancé. Is this his idea? I ask, already blaming someone else. Did he tell you to cut him so things are simpler? Her laugh comes out short and ugly, nothing like how she used to laugh. Wow, she shakes her head like she just confirmed something awful. You think I need permission from my fiancé to hate someone? I flinch at the word hate, but I still hear only drama. Footsteps cross the hallway, her fiancé appears in the doorway, confused. You guys okay? His eyes move from her face to mine. We're fine, I say too fast, which tells everyone we are not. My daughter doesn't even look at me, she keeps her gaze down. She wants to ban her own uncle from the wedding, I say. I throw that out like a charge, like he will fix it. He rubs the back of his neck, tension crawling into the room. If she's uncomfortable around someone, maybe we should listen, he says. Uncomfortable, that word hangs there heavy, and I pretend not to feel it. I lock my eyes on him instead because that feels safer. So you're okay with her blowing up the family over this? He glances at her, then back at me, shoulders set. I'm okay with her feeling safe on her wedding day. His voice stays even, but the message is loud and clear. To me it sounds like an accusation, like I want her unsafe. I can feel my pulse hammering, like I am cornered in my own house. I push back from the table, chair scraping just to breathe. Let me be very clear, I say, hands flat on the surface. If my brother is not invited, my money is off the table. Silence drops, thick enough that I instantly regret opening my mouth. She looks up slowly, eyes hard, no tears this time. So you're choosing him over me, she says, voice weirdly calm. It's not about choosing, I fire back, already hearing the lie. It's about doing what's right for the whole family. Her lips curl in a tired little smile that scares me. Then let the whole family pay for it, she says quietly. We'll cut the guest list, cut the venue, cut whatever. She straightens her back, but he is not walking into that room. I try another angle, because losing feels impossible in that moment. People will talk, I warn, as if gossip is the worst danger. They will notice his empty seat, they will ask questions. Good, she says, maybe someone should have asked questions sooner. That lands somewhere deep, and I do not follow it. I tell myself she is being dramatic, ungrateful, poisoned by resentment. I tell myself I know my own brother better than she does. Every story I cling to makes it easier not to look at her. She opens the laptop again, slow, deliberate, like a ritual. Her fingers move down the list, rearranging tables, closing gaps. The spot where his name sat is gone now, no trace at all. I feel like I am watching her cut a piece of me out. Last chance, I say, because I still believe in last chances. Add him back and we can forget this whole thing. She does not even turn her head, just breathes out hard. No, she says, I am finally done pretending for you. That line hits something raw, but pride has me by the throat. I grab my keys from the counter, the metal loud in the silence. If you want my support, you know what it costs, I say. I walk out before she can answer, because I am afraid she will. In the driveway, my hands shake on the steering wheel, ridiculous. It is just a name on a list, that is what I tell myself. But deep down I know this was not a small argument about seating. This was the first clean cut, and I chose the wrong side of the blade. I call my brother before I even pull out of the driveway. The screen shows his name, my thumb just hits dial on reflex. He answers on the second ring, cheerful, like nothing could be wrong. You're off the invite list, I blurt, and my voice comes out rough. Silence, then a short scoff, that familiar little sound he makes. What are you talking about? He asks, like I just misread a memo. She cut you, I say, staring through the windshield at nothing. She removed you from the wedding, and she will not budge. He swears, not loudly, more like a hiss between his teeth. That girl really forgot who kept you afloat, he mutters. The way he says it lands straight in my chest, and I let it. I told her you deserve to be there, I reply, almost pleading. He starts listing things, rapid, like he keeps a mental ledger. The months he covered my bills, the times he stepped in for school costs. Who wired you cash when your hours got cut, he goes on. And now she treats me like some stranger off the street. I grip the steering wheel harder, even though the car is still parked. Sincerely, in that moment, his version feels like the only solid one. You're not a stranger, I say, like that fixes anything at all. You're family, and she is acting like you did something awful. There is a tiny pause, barely a second, where he could deny it. He laughs instead, that loose, careless laugh I used to admire. She always had a flair for drama, he jokes, brushing it off. Use your head, you know me better than she does. Back then, that line worked on me every single time. He knew exactly which strings to pull, and I let him tug. I nod even though he cannot see me, soaking in the loyalty script. I'm not letting her humiliate you, I promise, stupidly sure of myself. Good, he replies, tone turning firm in an instant. You're the one helping with that wedding, remember who stepped up first. My stomach tightens because I do remember, down to exact figures. Talk sense into her, he finishes, don't let a kid rewrite history. I end the call, but his words keep running on repeat. By the time I back onto the street, I am fully wound up. Somewhere between the driveway and her place, I flip from hurt to mission. I walk up to her door, already rehearsing arguments about gratitude. She opens just enough for me to step inside, then crosses her arms. Her fiancé lingers near the hallway, clearly braced for more impact. We're not doing another blow-up, she says before I even start. Then listen for once, I answer, and I hate how sharp I sound. I spoke with your uncle, I say, because hiding it feels pointless. Her jaw tightens, just a small twitch, but I grab onto it. He reminded me how many times he backed us when things collapsed. I watch her face for any sign of appreciation and get nothing. Is this another speech about how we owe him our lives? She leans against the counter, fingers drumming, eyes fixed on me. It's not a speech, I insist, though it clearly is one. It's reality, and you're throwing that reality in the trash. She pushes off the counter and stands straighter, like a line snapped. I'm not tossing reality, she answers, each word careful and slow. I'm trying to have a wedding without someone who makes my skin crawl. That phrase hits me hard, but I choose to focus on gratitude instead. You're being unfair, I reply, lungs working too fast now. He kept the lights on when I had nothing to give you. He kept you in the same school when I almost pulled you out. You think that means nothing just because you're grown and engaged now. She stares at me a long second, lips parted, no sound coming. Her fiancé moves closer, his hand hovering near her shoulder. I never said it meant nothing, she answers, voice low but steady. I'm saying it doesn't erase how he behaves around me. There it is again, that opening, that clear hint I keep dodging. I could ask for details right there, could drill down. Instead, I jump to the line that feels safer in my head. You're blowing normal family tension into some big story, I argue. Her fiancé exhales hard, like he has been holding it for minutes. Mark, he starts, using my first name carefully, not sure I'll listen. If she tells you she feels unsafe around someone, why is that negotiable? I turn toward him because arguing with him feels less painful somehow. It's not negotiable, I answer, which is a lie I believe in that second. I just need her to see the bigger picture. He is not random. He's the one who stepped in while everyone else disappeared. If you cut him, the message to the family is ugly. He looks at me like I am speaking a different language. So the message right now is what? He asks, hands spread. That her comfort ranks below your sense of debt to your brother. The framing hits like a punch, but I rush to defend myself. That is not what I'm saying, I protest, throat tight with heat. I'm saying loyalty matters, and you don't kick out the person who showed up. She's not kicking out the guy who showed up, he replies, eyes narrowing. She's refusing to entertain the guy she doesn't trust, big difference. My daughter's breathing has gone shallow, I notice that at least. She wipes at the corner of one eye, quick, almost angry at herself. I'm tired of explaining this, she says, voice strained but clear. I don't want him watching me walk down that aisle, that's it. And I'm tired of watching you rewrite everything he did, I fire back. Yes, I hear how that sounds now, but in the moment I feel right. Every bill he helped with morphs into armor around my ribs. All I'm asking is one seat, after years of him taking care of us. Her laugh breaks out, sharp and humorless like glass under a shoe. He took care of you, she answers, eyes never leaving my face. Half the time I felt like I was babysitting your guilt for him. She clamps her lips together right after, like she revealed too much. I latch onto the part that hurts my pride, not the part that sounds scared. What does that even mean? I demand, hands slicing through the air. You talk like he's some villain out of nowhere. You know exactly where, she snaps, then stops herself mid-sentence. We all freeze for a second, the whole room holding its breath. She looks like she might say more, then backs away from the edge. Forget it, she mutters, rubbing her forehead, shutting that door again. That's not a conversation you clearly want to have, so just drop it. Her fiancé studies her, then studies me, reading something I refuse to see. I think you should go for today, he tells me, voice quiet but firm. This is not getting better while you're treating it like a math problem. I hate that he sounds reasonable, because it makes me feel unhinged. I'm part of this wedding too, I remind them, panic creeping into anger. I'm contributing a lot more than opinions here, in case you forgot. You're welcome at the ceremony, my daughter replies, shoulders stiff as boards. But I'm done arguing about this one guest, I'm not moving. The word guest makes my jaw clench, because to me he is more. To me, he is the person who opened his door when everything crashed. That version of him stands front and center in my head, blocking every doubt. You're making a mistake you can't undo, I warn, grabbing my keys. I walk out before they can answer because I feel cornered again. Out on the sidewalk, I pull out my phone and fire off a message. She's being ridiculous, I text my brother, but I'll fix it before the big day. He replies almost instantly with a thumbs up and a trophy emoji. That stupid little icon sits on my screen while my pulse thunders. It looks like a promise, like he knows I will take his side. Looking back, that was the moment I fully picked my team. And I walked away convinced I was still doing it for my child. Her first sentence is, "You really don't remember, do you?" No hello, no how are you, just that line like a hammer. She stands in my doorway, arms locked across her chest. Right then I know this is not about centerpieces or napkins. "I remember plenty," I answer, which is not entirely true. I move aside so she can step in, my voice comes out tight. She ease the room without sitting, pacing a short line. My stomach knots because I can feel something loading. "We need to clear something," she says, words clipped and slow. "After that, you can decide whatever you want about this wedding." I try to keep my tone neutral, like we are handling business. "Fine, let's talk. What exactly is this about?" She stops and looks straight at me, eyes sharp and tired. "You keep acting like I woke up one day hating him." Her hand lifts and drops like she is swatting away smoke. "You keep telling people I'm overreacting, ungrateful, dramatic." The last word makes me flinch because I did use it. Not in those exact sounds maybe, but close enough to sting. "I never called you ungrateful," I protest, hearing myself dodge. "I said you were being unfair to someone who helped us." "There it is again," she says, almost laughing but not really. That word helped, like I should curtsy every time I breathe. She leans on the back of a chair, knuckles turning pale. "Do you recall the night I stayed over at his place alone?" The question lands cold, and I feel my shoulders pull up. "Which time?" I ask, buying a second, hoping she drops it. "The last time," she answers, jaw firm now, no hesitation at all. "I was in high school. You had that early shift the next morning." I do remember dropping her off there once before work. At least I remember the rush, the clock, the relief of free childcare. Back then I called it family helping family, and I clung to that. I nod slowly, not sure where she is going yet. "I called you the next day," she continues, voice low but steady. "You were at work, you answered on speaker, you remember that." Pieces start slotting into place, a phone buzzing, her voice thin. I feel sweat gather along my spine, even though the room is cool. "You sounded upset," I say, because that is all I can grab. "You said you didn't like staying there, you were uncomfortable." Her mouth twists like that single word tastes rancid now. "Uncomfortable," she repeats, almost spitting it, "that's what I gave you." She clears her throat once, like forcing the rest up. "He had been drinking," she says, eyes drifting somewhere past me. "He sat too close on the couch, way closer than normal." Her hands lift a few inches, then fall, like replaying it physically. "He put his hand on my knee and left it there," she continues. "Every time I shifted away, he followed like it was nothing. He told me I'd grown up, that I was turning into a heartbreaker." He laughed, but his eyes never left my chest once. My lungs actually stall at that, but I try to stay composed. Inside I am scrambling, searching for some other version. "You never said it was like that," I manage, sounding defensive already. "You just said you didn't enjoy being there, that it felt weird." Her head jerks like I slapped her straight across the face. "I used the word creepy," she says, tapping her temple with 2 fingers. "I said he touched me in a way that didn't feel okay. I told you I locked the guest room door because I didn't trust him." I remember her calling him creepy once, and I brushed it aside. I told myself every teenager throws that label when adults annoy them. Hearing it now in this room from this angle, it hits different. I feel my throat close up as my own excuses line up. "You were always quick with strong terms," I reply weakly. "You hated babysitters, teachers, half the world, everyone was awful. So when you said he made you uneasy, I thought it was the same." The second the words leave my mouth, I know how bad they sound. She pushes the chair back so hard it scrapes across the floor. "I was not whining about homework," she snaps, eyes wet but burning. "I told you a grown man held on to me when I squirmed away. And your answer was, 'Don't start problems,' he didn't mean anything by it." That line slams right into me, because she is quoting me now. I can hear my own voice in her mouth, casual, dismissive, tired. I remember being late that morning, juggling bills and schedules. I also remember wanting quiet more than I wanted details. "You're twisting it," I start then stop, because even I don't buy that. I had said something like that, maybe not those exact syllables. I had wanted the issue to vanish, and I acted like it already had. I rubbed my face with both hands, stalling, feeling very small. You never asked what he did, she goes on, softer now. You never asked where his hand was or how far it went. You just told me not to accuse family of nasty things. And then you kept sending me around him like nothing happened. Her voice breaks on that last part, and it finally cracks me. I picture every barbecue, every holiday, every time she hugged the wall. I remember thinking she was just moody or glued to her phone. I want to crawl out of my own skin as I connect it. I thought you were being dramatic, I admit, words heavy as cinderblow. ZKS. I thought he was clumsy with boundaries, not dangerous. I say that and hear how pathetic it is, like splitting hairs. I didn't want to believe he could do something like that. She laughs once, a broken sound, wiping under both eyes. You didn't want to consider it at all, she replies, shoulders shaking. Because then you'd have to confront the guy who bailaid you out. And that would hurt more than ignoring your kid's panic. That one hits exactly where it should, right in the gut. I open my mouth to argue, then close it because she is right. I weighed his support against her discomfort and treated them equal. Maybe not even equal if I am being brutally honest. What exactly are you saying happened? I ask, voice barely above a murmur. It is a coward's question because she already told me a lot. But some rotten part of me still wants wiggle room. I brace for her answer like someone waiting for a verdict. She looks at me like she cannot believe she has to spell it out. He slid his hand higher, she says, each word landing like a hammer. He brushed against places he had no right to be near. I sat frozen and counted the seconds until he finally moved. My stomach lurches hard enough that I grab the back of a chair. The room tilts, or maybe it is just my sense of self. I want to believe there is some misunderstanding, some innocent angle. But there is no clean way to reframe what she just described. You should have told me everything, I blurt, knowing it is unfair. I should have dragged it out of you, forced the conversation. I hear how I am shifting the weight again, trying to dodge responsibility. Her eyes narrow, like she watches me rearrange the blame in real time. I was a kid, she answers, voice suddenly steady again. I gave you what I could manage without throwing up. I trusted you to connect the rest because you were the adult. And you basically told me to shut up and keep the peace. There is no defense that sounds anything but rotten after that. Every sentence I reach for turns to dust in my mouth. I sink into a chair, elbows on my knees, staring at the floor. For the first time, I understand that this fight is not about invitations. So when you keep pushing his name onto that list, she continues. You're not just ignoring me in the present, you're replaying that call. You're telling me again that his comfort matters more than mine. And you're acting surprised I don't want to play along. I drag a hand over my face, my chest tight and uneven. Looking back now, this is the moment where I could have pivoted. I could have said, he is outdone, I believe you fully. Instead, I cling to technicalities because letting go scares me. He never touched you after that night, I say, grasping at straws. You never told me he cornered you again or anything worse. As if the absence of repeat offenses makes the first one smaller. As if frequency matters more than impact when it is your child. Her shoulders drop like I just drained the last bit of patience. Listen to yourself, she says quietly, almost more sad than angry. You're bargaining with the scale of what he did to your daughter. Then you wonder why I don't want him anywhere near my vows. That line finally cuts through the fog for a second. I picture her walking down that aisle with him in the crowd. I imagine his eyes tracking her dress the way she described. My stomach flips, and for a breath I feel only rage at him. In that split second, I almost stand up and declare it's settled. I almost grab my phone, yank his name off everything, end it. Then another thought creeps in, quieter but strong. What if she is misremembering? What if he was just drunk and stupid? I hate admitting that thought even crossed my mind, but it did. I had known my brother my entire life, shared rooms, secrets, struggles. He had never crossed a line with me, or at least I never saw it. Letting this version stand meant rebuilding my whole idea of him. I need to confront him about this, I say, clinging to that plan. Maybe there's context we don't have, maybe he was out of it. Her eyes widen like I proposed a joint vacation with the man. There is no context that makes that moment okay, she replies. You want to ask the guy who grabbed me if it was bad enough. Her voice climbs, not loud yet, but charged like a storm. What do you think he'll say, Mark, that he's a predator? She uses my first name, and that hits almost as hard as the story. I look away toward the window, even though nothing outside matters. I can't just accuse him without hearing his side, I mutter. That would blow everything up, and maybe he denies, then what? I sound more worried about fallout than about what happened to her. That's the point, she answers, every syllable razor sharp. You care more about the blast radius than the actual hit. You're terrified of the family imploding, so you sacrifice me. Instead, again, that last word hangs there, heavy, impossible to dodge. It sums up the phone call, the years of pretending, the guest list. I feel something ugly crawl up my throat and sit there. Shame, anger, fear, all tangled, and none of them aimed right. She straightens, wiping her face with the heel of her hand. So here's where I'm at, she says, pulling herself together. I am marrying someone who believes me without a spreadsheet. I refuse to stand in front of him while my father invites that man. I nod once because arguing now would be disgusting even for me. My brain still scrambles for loopholes, for softer versions, for escape. Out loud, all I manage is, I need time to process this. Inside, I already know time is almost out. I dial my brother again the same night she leaves. My thumb hovers for half a breath, then the call connects. He picks up with a lazy hey, like nothing heavy exists anywhere. She told me you put your hands on her, I say. There is a short click of air, then a low laugh. Wow, he goes, dragging the word out like he heard a joke. Your kid really knows how to spice up a story. My grip tightens so much the phone edges dig into my palm. I'm not playing, I answer, hearing my own pulse in my ears. She described you touching her when she tried to move away. She says you made comments about her body that night. Saying it out loud feels like chewing glass, but I push through. He blows out a breath, annoyed, like I dumped work on his desk. I was drunk, he replies, tone sharper now, patience already thin. I put a hand on her leg, that is all that happened. She freaked out, I backed off, I thought we moved past it. My brain catches that phrase, backed off, like it is some kind of gift. Why would you even do that, I ask, shoulders already stiff. You knew she was staying there, you knew she was a teenager. My voice jumps a little, and I try to drag it back down. We were watching a movie, he says, voice flat as concrete. I wasn't thinking straight, I misjudged the distance, relax. It wasn't some scheme, I'm not some monster from TV. He throws that last line out like a shield I should grab. A part of me wants to believe every word like always. Another part can still see my daughter's face while she talked. You scared her, I say, even that feels like a climb. She locked the door after, she remembers every second. So she remembers every second, he replies, mocking the echo. You know how memory works, it loves to stretch things out. She never mentioned this to me, not once until now. That should tell you something about how real it actually was. That line lands hard because he is right about one detail. She never confronted him in front of me, not even once. I twist that around in my head, use it like support. You swear nothing else happened, I ask, voice low, almost hoarse. He clicks his tongue, irritated, like I am wasting his evening. I swear I didn't assault your kid, he says, emphasis heavy. Was I clumsy? Yes, more than once, especially when drinking. But you know me better than anyone, I don't cross that line. That sentence digs into old loyalty and hooks deep. I have memories stacked of him showing up when no one did. It all clashes with what she described, and my brain stalls. I feel like I'm standing between two moving trains, frozen. She says she told me right after, I say, softer now. She says she used the word wrong, said you made her feel sick. He groans long and loud, like this whole thing insults him. You were drowning in bills back then, your timeline is foggy. He keeps going, and I let him keep going. You remember how she hated rules, how everything was an ordeal. She probably spun my stupid move into something darker over time. Come on, you really think I would do that and sleep at night? That last question hits my weak spot, the place named history. No, I answer too fast because I want that to be true. I rely on years, on shared jokes, on old trust. Those things feel solid, even when my gut feels off. She wants you out of the wedding, I remind him anyway. She says she will not walk through those doors if you attend. He laughs again, this time with no humor at all. So the kid calls me a creep, and I lose everything. She is not a kid anymore, I say, but it comes out faint. She is scared enough to throw away tradition and money. He snorts, calling her stubborn, then tosses another guilt brick. I carried you for years, and this is the thanks I get. There it is again, the bill folded into every conversation. I am not ungrateful, I answer, heat prickling up my neck. I remember every transfer, every time you stepped in. I also cannot ignore what she told me last night. You can and you are, he shoots back, voice rising now. You're letting one emotional tirade erase decades of loyalty. You're her father, you're supposed to lead, not let her dictate. If you fold here, you'll crawl for her approval forever. The word crawl hits something stupid in my pride. I do not want to spend the rest of my life begging. I also do not want to picture his hand on her again. My chest tightens like the decision lives there and claws around. I need you to stay away from her at the event, I say. You sit, you keep your distance, you do not drink much. It sounds pathetic even to me, a list of weak rules. I am trying to fit her fear and his presence in one room. That sounds like I'm on probation, he grumbles, unhappy. But if you're telling me I still have a seat, fine. As long as I'm in that building, the rest can adjust. You handle your house, I'll handle mine. He hangs up first, which used to feel normal. This time the empty line feels like cold air in my ear. I lower the phone and realize my hands are shaking. I have not solved anything, I have only postponed the explosion. The next day I send him the venue details without asking anyone. I type out the schedule, the time, where to check in. My thumb hesitates over the send icon, then I hit it anyway. A tiny whoosh later, the damage is in motion. A few hours after that, my phone buzzes with a new email. It is the venue confirming an updated head count with his name listed. My stomach flips because I know I should have warned her first. I tell myself I will talk to her tonight before she sees it. I do not get that chance, she calls before dinner even hits. Her voice is steady, which scares me more than yelling. You invited him again, she says, no greeting, no filler at all. His name is on the confirmation from the venue. I close my eyes, already scrambling for some sort of angle. I talked to him, I answer, trying to sound calm and rational. He says it was a single bad move after too much drinking. I told him he can come only if he stays away from you. There is silence long enough that I think the call dropped. When she speaks again, the words come out slow and icy. So you heard what I described, then took his version as equal. And your solution is to place him in the same room. I'm trying to keep the peace, I push back, voice rising. I'm trying to honor everything he did and protect you both. Hearing myself, I know how twisted that sounds, but I keep going. This way he is present and you don't have to interact. You are not protecting me, she answers, each word like a hammer. You're protecting your image of him and your own comfort. I told you he turned my skin inside out and you shrugged. Now you are seating me under the same roof to keep him happy. I did not shrug, I argue, even though I had. I confronted him, I set boundaries, I am taking this seriously. My voice shakes on that last part, which ruins the effect. She lets out a breath that sounds more like a laugh in a sob. I'm done explaining why he is a problem, she says. If you want him there, then you make this simple for me. You will not be walking me down that aisle. My heart slips in my chest like someone yanked it sideways. That is not fair, I blurt, panic punching straight through my throat. I have been planning that moment for years, you know that. I have poured savings into this day, into your future. You cannot just rip me out because I refuse to exile my brother. You ripped yourself out, she replies, voice flat now, almost tired. You heard what happened, then chose him anyway, even after that. Her words land with a slow burn, hotter with every second. This is the only power I have left, and I'm using it. Before I can respond, another voice cuts in nearer to her. Give me the phone, my ex says, tone already sharpened. I hear a muffled scuffle, then the line shifts. What is wrong with you, she asks, no effort to soften it. I rub my forehead, already bracing for a whole new round. I'm trying to hold the family together, I say, old line loaded. I'm not throwing him out over one mistake from years ago. I talked to him, he claims it never crossed a certain line. Of course he claims that, she snaps, not even pretending surprise. Guys like him always minimize, that is their favorite sport. My breath catches on that phrase, guys like him, plural. What do you mean guys like him? I ask, a chill running through. She exhales hard like she has waited too long to say this. I never stayed alone with him either, she tells me quietly. He cornered me at a party once, got handsy, ignored no. I got away and I told you he was a little too comfortable. A blurry memory sparks when I buried so deep it warped. I remember her complaining he flirted too much back when we were married. I remember rolling my eyes, accusing her of reading into nothing. Hearing it now with actual words tied to it, my stomach turns. You said he was grabby when he drank, she continues, voice razor sharp. You brushed it off. As him being playful, you remember that. And now your daughter gives you a nearly identical account. And your move is to offer him a chair near the dance floor. I sink into a chair, the phone wedged hard against my ear. Every defensive line I had starts to crumble around the edges. I did not know it was that bad with you, I murmur. The truth is, I did not want to know, so I never asked. You did not want conflict with your hero, she says, not yelling now. You liked having a savior, so you ignored every warning flare. Fine, that was our marriage, I made my choices there. But I am not watching you sacrifice our daughter on the same altar. Her words land one after another, and I deserve every single one. Still, some stubborn corner of me fights for oxygen. I cannot erase him from my life overnight, I say, voice strained. He has been my anchor through years you were not there for. And there it is, she answers almost calmly, which is worse. His help bought him immunity forever, even against assault claims. You think you're stuck choosing, but honestly that choice already happened. She is just the first one to call it out so clearly. I press my thumb into my forehead until it hurts. Tell her I still want to walk her, I say, hating myself. Tell her I will stand on the opposite side of the room. Tell her I will hang back if she needs space. I am not your messenger, she replies. You want anything from her, you say it yourself without spin. But listen carefully before you call again, because things shifted. At this point, you are the one on probation, not her. The line clicks off, leaving me alone with my own breathing. I stare at the silent phone and feel the floor tilt under me. I could call my brother again, demand more honest answers. Instead, I stuff the phone in my pocket and tell myself they exaggerate. Later that week, she sends a group text about rehearsal details. Times, directions, who stands where during the procession. At the bottom there is one extra line that knocks the air out. Walking with me, mom and fiancés, stepdad, not my father. The thread lights up with relatives confirming attendance and roles. No one mentions my name, no one asks if there is a mistake. I watch the chat fill, fingers numb over the screen. For the first time, I see my place in this family shrinking. My brother pings me separately, a short message with a smirking tone. So am I still in, or did Princess win, he writes. I stare at the words, thumb hovering over the keyboard. Whatever I reply now, I already know I am standing alone. I kill the engine outside his place and stay strapped in. The house looks the same as always, which somehow makes it worse. My phone buzzes in the cup holder, another reminder from the venue. I ignore it and stare at his front door like it might stare back. I know this is not a friendly stop, my hands give that away. They are shaking on the steering wheel, slick and useless. For a second I almost put the key back in and drive off. Then I picture my daughter's face when she described that night. I force myself out of the car and walk up the path. Each step feels heavier than it needs to, like my legs resist. I raise my hand and knock harder than necessary, no warm greeting. Inside I hear movement, then the door swings open wide. He grins when he sees me, like we are grabbing breakfast. There he is, the proud father of the bride, he jokes. He reaches for a half hug, but I stay planted on the doormat. His smile fades an inch when he clocks the distance. What's wrong with you, he asks, eyes narrowing at my stance. We've got a big day, don't tell me there's drama already. There is, I answer, my voice rougher than I planned. We need to talk before anything else happens. He steps back to let me in, but I do not move. I stay right where I am, outside, like a salesman I want gone. He raises his eyebrows, a slow, irritated lift. Fine talk then, I've got to get dressed soon. I swallow, mouth dry, throat tight enough to hurt. You're not coming today, I say, and the words scrape out. He blinks like he misheard me, head tilting a fraction. What are you babbling about? I already RSVP'd. You're not invited anymore, I repeat, this time clearer. If you show up, they will turn you away at the door. My voice wobbles on the last part, but I let it stand. His whole face hardens like someone flipped a switch. You have got to be kidding, he says, jaw working. You let that girl of yours poison you completely. He steps closer, shoulders squared, trying to tower over me. For years I carry you, and this is the payoff. That line should crush me like it always did. Instead, something inside tilts, just slightly enough to notice. I listen to her, I answer, not backing up this time. She told me what you did when she stayed here. He scoffs, sharp and loud, eyes flashing. I told you it was no thing, a misplaced hand, that's it. You're really throwing away blood over one awkward moment. He pushes his palm against the doorframe like he owns the space. She froze, I say, my voice low but steady now. She shifted away, and you closed the gap again. She locked the guest room because she did not feel safe. Laying it out like that makes my chest burn. He waves a hand through the air like clearing smoke. She's always been theatrical, you know that better than anyone. She probably rewrote the whole scene in her head 100 times. You're letting memories from a teenager dictate your life. Stop doing that, I snap louder than I intend. Stop talking about her like she is some unreliable child. She gave me details, and they match things my ex mentioned. Different years, same pattern, same excuses from you. His jaw tightens, a vein pulsing at his temple. I flirted when I was drunk, so what? He throws back. So now I'm branded forever because you raised a sensitive daughter. You think perfect men paid your rent all those months. My stomach rolls when he uses the word flirted. That is not how my kid described lying stiff on a couch. If that's what you call it, then you are worse than I thought. I shake my head, trying to keep my voice from cracking. You owe me, he fires, finger jabbing the air between us. That's the part everyone seems to forget in this circus. You were underwater, I pulled you out over and over. And now you kick me out because your girl cries on cue. Something inside snaps at that last sentence, clean and final. You don't get to talk about her like that ever again, I tell him. I let you rewrite things for years, I am done playing along. You helped me, and I still let you near my kid after that. He stares at me like I have grown another head. So you actually believe she was assaulted in this house? He asks. He gestures around like the walls should defend him. You trust a memory from high school over your own brother. Yes, I answer, and I feel the word hit my own ribs. I believe her now, down to the way she described your hand. She told me once and I ignored her, that is on me. I'm not repeating that on her wedding day. For a second he looks genuinely stunned, like the air left him. Then the shock turns mean, fast like a door slamming shut. You're pathetic, he spits, lips curling. You let feminism, TikTok, and therapy buzzwords chew your brain. The insult almost makes me laugh from sheer disbelief. This is who I protected all that time, I think, and it stings. He goes on about weak men and ungrateful kids. Every word makes the choice feel less complicated. I don't care what you think of me anymore, I cut in. Stay away from that venue, stay away from her, stay away from my ex. If you show up, I will stand in the parking lot myself. And I will tell everyone exactly why you are not welcome. He takes a step back like I hit him, eyes narrowing. You de-smear me to the whole family, he asks, voice dropping. You'd stand there and call me a predator to our cousins. He sounds more shocked by that than by losing the seat. If you force me, yes, I say, feeling my pulse slam. I will stop covering for you, I should have done it years back. It's your choice how ugly this gets now. I'm done protecting your reputation over her sanity. He swears at me, a string of sharp words, then slams the door. The sound rattles through my chest like a dropped toolbox. For a moment I just stand there, staring at cheap wood. Then I walk away, knees shaky, but each step lighter than the last. In the car I finally check my phone. There is a fresh message from the venue asking for last confirmations. I reply with a single line, one guest removed, payment unchanged. I hit send and exhale like I had been holding air all month. I drive to the wedding on time, alone, no music playing. The closer I get, the more my grip loosens on the wheel. I am not walking her, that part is still real and heavy. But at least I am not bringing him through those doors. Outside the venue, I spot relatives talking in little clusters. A couple of them glance around, probably expecting my brother somewhere. No one asks me directly, not yet, and I am grateful for the delay. I straighten my tie and head inside before I can bolt. I take a seat a few rows back on the groom's side. I cannot bring myself to sit in the front like nothing changed. People murmur, shuffle, check programs, normal wedding noise. My mind keeps drifting to an empty chair that only exists in my head. Music starts, bodies twist toward the aisle, the air shifts. First come the attendants, then the ring bearer, all serious and careful. Then I see her appear with my ex and her stepfather. My chest pulls tight, watching someone else stand in my place. She meets my eyes for half a second while walking. There is no smile, but there is also no hate, just so. Nothing tired. I nod once, tiny, like I am asking for another chance even now. She looks forward again, and I let her go because I have to. During the vows, my throat burns the whole time. Her voice shakes on one line, then steadies when she mentions safety. I hear relatives near me whisper, wondering where my brother is. My ex leans toward one of them and mutters, he won't be coming. For the first time, I do not jump in with excuses. I do not mention work, flights, sudden emergencies. I sit there and let his absence speak without a cover story. It feels like the smallest piece of honesty, way too late. After the ceremony, everyone spills into the reception space. The photographer starts organizing people for pictures, calling out names. I hover near the edge, unsure if I should even step in. Eventually, my daughter gestures once, short, telling me where to stand. We take a quick group shot, nothing dramatic. My hand hovers near her shoulder, then drops to my side. She does not pull away, but she does not lean closer either. The space between us feels louder than the music. Later, during a slow song, she walks over to my table. My heart kicks up again, like earlier outside my brother's door. She sets her bouquet down and stays standing looking at me. Mom told me you talked to him, she says. I nod, fingers laced together so I do not fidget. I told him not to come and I meant it. I told him if he showed up, I'd tell everyone why. Saying it out loud makes my face heat but also ease. She studies me for a few seconds, trying to read if I am real. Did he threaten you, try to twist it again, she asks. Yeah, I answer and a short laugh escapes me. He used every guilt trip he had, then called me pathetic. Her mouth twitches, not quite a smile, more like bitter recognition. That sounds on brand, she mutters, eyes dropping to the table. She taps her fingers once against the wood, thinking. Thank you for keeping him away today, she adds quietly. Those words hit harder than any insult from him ever did. I feel my eyes sting, which I did not plan at all. I'm late, I say, voice rough, I should have believed you earlier. I can't fix that, but I can stop making it worse. She looks up at me again, searching my face. You're right, you can't fix the old part, she answers. But not inviting him is the bare minimum, not a grand gesture. I'm not suddenly fine because you and he fought. I know, I reply, and this time I really do. I'm not asking you to pretend this cleans everything. I just want you to know I finally picked you without conditions. The words come out messy, but they are honest. She nods once slowly, like she is filing that away. For what it's worth, I'm glad you're here, she says. I'm still not ready to have you on my arm, though. That belongs to people who believed me the first time. That line hurts more than anything my brother threw at me. I nod anyway because she is right and I earned it. If you ever want to dance, I'm around, I manage, half joking. We'll see, she answers, then steps back toward her new husband. She does come back later, near the end of the night. 2 minutes, she says, offering her hand without fanfare. We move awkwardly on the dance floor, not like some perfect movie. Still, for those 2 minutes, I feel something small starting to mend. I drive home alone, tie half undone, shoes aching. My phone is full of missed calls and messages from my brother. The previews show every kind of insult he can throw at once. I delete the whole string without opening a single one. The house feels quiet when I walk in, actually quiet, not peaceful. I drop into a chair and stare at nothing for a long stretch. The truth is, I'm not some noble hero in this story. I am the parent who chose the wrong person for years. Eventually, I grab my laptop and open a blank page. My hands hover over the keys, then start typing anyway. I lay out the money, the history, the phone calls, the wedding. I ask a bunch of strangers if breaking with him now is enough. I know the answer is probably no, not really. There is no way to pay back the night she begged me to listen. There is no speech that erases how long I protected him. But I still hit post because I need to hear it from someone else.